Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. That was a new core Discord here, Jack. I don't even know the name of that song. Episode 52.
It's actually the name of the album.
It is?
Calculated
Frisk. David Imador shredding us in. It all boils down to this. Episode 52. A lot happened this week. A lot happened this morning, too. You were up early, right? Yeah, you were up early. He's busy on his phone.
So we're going to have some Red Sox talk that I just got some information. But yeah, what did I have a busy what?
You watched Sinner versus Alcatraz this morning.
I went to bed early. I went to bed at 8 o'clock last night so I could wake up this morning to watch that tennis. We'll talk about that later, too.
That's true. All right.
I did wake up. So if anyone, I am a real part of the Alcaraz Hive. I own the Alcaraz Hive, but we'll get there.
Is it the Alcaraz Army or the Alcaraz Hive?
No, it's the Hive. I came up with the Hive last year.
Hive, isn't that Beyonce, the Hive?
Yeah, the Beehive.
Yeah, Beehive. The A-Hive.
Yeah, it's the Alcaraz Hive.
It's the A-holes.
All right, what do we got? What happened over the weekend? Ryan Williams?
Huh?
Ryan Williams. That's kind of the only thing that really happened over the weekend. That's the name of the wide receiver from Alabama.
That's the only thing
really that mattered over the weekend was Ryan Williams.
Well, that's what I have first on the list. Alabama, Georgia. Really, you and I took Alabama +2. Chris and Kevin had Alabama -2, so we actually both won that. He lost. They lost. No, again, the good news about a game like that, it lived up to the hype. You know, it did live up to the hype. Alabama got off to a tremendous start, though, and Georgia called back to take the lead, which I was shocked that Alabama actually came back and won the football game. But your boy there in Milroe did a great job. So real quick, what's the take on, they're very evenly matched teams. Alabama was home. What's the take?
So I thought Alabama was going to win that game handedly, and the way it started, they took off, and I was just looking eyes with Kevin, who calls into our podcast, and I was like, look, I was right. That second half was not good for Alabama. If I'm Alabama, I do not want to see Georgia again, because I'll tell you right now, Georgia will kill them when they play them again. That's my takeaway from that game, is just the way, and I know my guy, listen, I'm repeating kind of his take, Joel Klatt. They're just the way that second half went. It was like Georgia they came out flat, but Georgia's the better team there. They are. I think Alabama does not want to see them again.
So the question is, how do you come out flat in a game like that? Really? How do you come out flat?
Well,
really?
They didn't play good the week before. I don't know. They weren't. It's at Alabama. It's a tough game to play. The crowd's going crazy, all that. So it's easy to come out flat, but I just think Georgia's the better team, and if they play again, Georgia's going to win. That's my takeaway. I was right the first time. I'll be right the second time. And guess what? They probably will play again. They will, because they're both probably going to win out.
If they play again, it'll be in the final. Do you think?
Well,
it depends.
So they'll probably play again in the conference championship.
Oh, I forgot about.
And then they'll play in the playoff, because I think they're probably the two best teams, and then Ohio State. And Texas is good too.
Texas could be in the conference championship now that they're in the SEC.
I forgot about Texas.
Okay, we'll do Texas in a minute. But again, the kid was phenomenal. That was probably for a 17-year-old kid. I didn't know he was 17 when he did it. Not only did he make a great adjustment to make the catch that kept them in the ballgame to win, he made a great adjustment and then beat everyone else down the field. That is first-round talent right there. But then you broke the news to me he was a top 5 recruit. Yeah. So what the hell?
It's just the thing with that is it's just that play right there. And again, if he doesn't make that crazy play, Alabama probably loses that game. And if Alabama didn't win that game, it would have been a really, really bad loss with how they started being at home and a choke like that. Alabama. When's the last time they lost a game when they were up by 21, 28 points at home? It would have been
probably never.
Demoralizing loss.
Probably never. But again, it's Kalen DeBoer's first big game, and they came out. I'll give the guy credit. They came out fired up at home, which you'd expect. He didn't really make too many mistakes as a head coach there. He did, he's got his recruits, and now they're his kids. So the Saban legacy is over, and it's now Kalen DeBoer, and we'll see how he does. But he did take a team to the finals.
The thing is Kalen DeBoer, and I saw an LSU fan make this point, is he more Kirby Smart or is he more Les Miles? Is he going to win national championships or is he going to put up 10-win seasons and not really deliver the goods like Les Miles did?
A lot of people put up 10-win season, don't win it all. But again,
No, I know. That's the point.
Again,
but out of Alabama, the expectation every year has to be to win the title, right?
I would have to expect that they would want to win the title, which they haven't done for like 3 years, right? For 4 years ago was the last time they won. So we'll see. Back into the SEC, I just wanted to bring this
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, you're right. Backup for Jacksonville. Kentucky goes down to Ole Miss and wins after they gave Georgia a tough game. And Ole Miss maybe a little bit overrated. Ole Miss they both missed field goals in the last 2 minutes. I don't know if you watched. I did watch the end of the game because I thought those were the ugliest powder blue uniforms Ole Miss could have worn for a big game like that. But give Bob Stoops a lot of credit. Kentucky bringing the middle of pack SEC team. But that comes back to my next question: how really good is that SEC? How good is the SEC?
It's good like it is every year. Really, they're gonna win a lot of bowl games like they do every year. About that Kentucky, that was almost my lock because Kentucky was getting a ton of points after they just put up a good game against Georgia. That was going to be my lock. I forget what I even did for my lock, but I know I won. Oh, Illinois at Penn State. That Kentucky, they're a good team. We saw that against Georgia. Because, again, like I just said, I thought Georgia, even though they sucked in the first quarter, they're a good team, and Kentucky put a good game against them. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, that's Kevin's team. Get off Twitter and win games. I mean, they had a very promising start to the season. It looked like this was going to be the year they might do things, and that's a game you can't be losing with the start they've had and as Lane Kiffin. The amount of trash he talks, you can't lose to Kentucky at home.
Okay, next question. Texas won first SEC game. They played the worst team in the SEC, Mississippi State. Ewers was still out. Arch Manning. Can they win a national championship if Ewers stays out?
No, probably, yeah. Is Ewers that much better than Arch Manning? I don't know.
I think he is. I think right now he is.
Alabama won a championship with like A.J. McCarron. They won too, so why not? Yeah, they definitely can win a championship. It's not like you're bringing in like whoever Temple's quarterback is to play. Like it's Arch Manning's the backup.
Temple's quarterback Evan Simon got hurt, so we'll see. That's coming up this week in Connecticut. The other games I just wanted to bring up two other games. USC who got a little bit beat up by Michigan in the Big Ten way of doing things. They were initiated. They go to play Wisconsin, and they destroy Wisconsin. What the hell's going on? Wisconsin's the kind of team that would expect pounds of football.
No, Wisconsin's no good. Look, they got blown up by Alabama. Again, it's Alabama, but Wisconsin's no good. Forget Wisconsin. That USC, what was the final score there?
I have no.
It doesn't matter, but yeah, that's no. I didn't pay attention too much, but yeah, that's a bad loss. That's not a bad. That's just a win you'd expect them to win. Honestly, Wisconsin's nothing. Wisconsin does not have the talent that Michigan has. They don't.
They got a coach. They got a coach who's huge, though.
Yeah, okay.
He's a big boy. That coach. Okay, the other two games, Clemson, who struggled with Georgia early, has really turned it around, and your boy down there, Dabo Swinney. Are they the ACC title favorites after the Miami escape of Virginia Tech?
Well, no, yeah, probably because they're Clemson. I said this after week one. It's like everyone's trashing on Dabo and all that. It's like this is going to be a good team. They're probably going to make the college football playoff, and they're probably going to. So, yeah, I expected Clemson to be good, and they are. So, you know what? And I hated Dabo. Like I said, I made that quote about now everyone hates Dabo, so I like Dabo. I'm a Dabo guy.
You're a Dabo guy now?
Yeah, Dabo said there was someone. Harbaugh had like one of a Christian quote or something that was so...
Which Harbaugh, Jimbo?
Yeah, it was so crazy, and someone's like, oh, you just know Dabo's pissed he didn't think of that one. I forgot
and then the final ACC game that I want to mention was Miami, Virginia Tech. Technically, I would say the debacle at the end of the game, but we'll see. It's just a weird way that it worked out. Do you have Kevin's stuff, by the way?
I do have Kevin's stuff, so I didn't send him topics this week. He should be banned from the show because he's 0-5 with his locks.
Oh, he's 0-5.
We'll talk about our lock. What was your lock last week? Mine was Illinois plus like 19.5 against Penn State. They lost by 14. They did all right. Penn State's a pretty goddamn good team.
Mine was Notre Dame minus 6.5. They won by 7. Oh, what a pick. And Chris had Indiana plus like minus 7. They won by like 50. Chris is on a roll.
So are you undefeated? You're 5-0.
I'm 5-0.
And I'm 4-1. And Chris is like 3-0 or 4-0.
Chris is okay.
Kevin's 0-5.
Okay, so let's recap. I'm 5-0. Chris is 4-0. You're 4-1, and Kevin's 0-5. So we'll talk about the Miami game after Chris.
This is a quick Kevin one because I didn't give him a topic, so I'm sure I'll get trashed on this call. It's a quick call. He did it late today. Let's see what he has to say about this weekend.
Okay, this is our good friend Kevin. Our college football expert, 0-5.
So I guess I didn't get an agenda this week from Jack. He'll say it's because it's a punishment, but it's really because he's lazy and, frankly, a bad showrunner at this point.
It's true.
But yeah, I'm 0-5 in locks. I'm down 1,000 games this year in my overall record. I'm going on my 4th deposit into DraftKings in this college football season. It's week 6. It's just a disaster. But to get to the big game, Georgia-Bama, what a game. Probably one of the best football games I've ever seen, honestly. We were watching it over the Greco household, a great time. I'll just say this. My end of the season Heisman pick last year to win it this year was Jalen Milroe. Boy, oh boy, do I seem 100% dead on correct on that. They're talking about him going as the number 1 overall pick. I don't buy that, but I think he's certainly a Heisman candidate, especially after as high of a profile win as that was. That Williams kid, that wide receiver, unbelievable play, 17 years old. That's just crazy. I was playing FIFA in my basement for 5 hours a day at 17. So congrats to him on all the success.
Such a good athlete.
In terms of a lock this week, I got to go with, I know this is a sucker pick. I know like 95% of the public money is going to be on it. It's Missouri plus 2.5 at A&M. It's a noon kickoff. It's a noon kickoff, guys. It's not a 7:30 at College Station game. This is a noon kickoff. This is Eli Drinkwitz. This is Missouri. Missouri was fantastic last year. Another one of my teams. I picked one of my other teams last week, Ole Miss, and they let me down in the worst way possible. I didn't even watch the game or the highlights. I was so disgusted. But yeah, I'm going with Missouri plus 2.5 at A&M. And next week, I want Jack Boyle to be a better showrunner. I want him to be a better showrunner. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
All right. First off, about show runnings, if Kevin wants topics, let's just do it. You got to win your lock. Okay, if he keeps losing his lock, I'm not giving him topics. So if he wants topics next week, you better hope that, Missouri covers against Texas A&M. You better hope. Now, I don't even have a lock for this week. What else did he say? He said something about that Alabama game was great. Yeah, what else did he have?
He was talking about Milroe and Heisman, but you don't win the Heisman the 5th game of the season. And when I don't think I don't think Milroe wins the Heisman.
You need
I know he's a favorite.
If anyone wants a chance to win the Heisman right now, you need Travis Hunter to get hurt because he's going to win the Heisman if he's healthy and he plays the whole year. He is. And he deserves to.
And they're winning more games this year.
Most outstanding
winning more games than they did last year as well.
That UCF win. They destroyed UCF. Gus Malzahn and UCF. They destroyed them. So that was one of those wins that was impressive.
So his lock is Missouri minus 2.5 against Texas A&M. I
actually think it's plus 2.5. I think they're getting points.
You're right, plus 2.5. And then Mr. Greco as Navy minus 10 against Air Force. Not a bad. That was one on my list as well. I'm going to go way out west to Boise State, who just joined the Pac-10, or joined in the Pac-12, whatever the hell they call that damn conference now. I'm going to go Boise State. This is a risky bet. It's a night game on Fox. They're minus 26.5. But who are they playing? Who do you think they're playing? Who's the only team that Temple beat?
Idaho?
Utah State.
Oh,
they're playing Utah State, who Temple beat after Temple shit the bed against Army this week. I was almost going to take Temple against UConn, but they moved it to 14.5. Oh, come on. But I'm going to take that as I got to hope they win because that'll be fun. But I'm going to go, my pick will be the Boise State minus 26.5 over Utah State. Jack, what do you got?
So I don't love this pick. I forgot again. I was lazy this week. Poor show running by me. First of all, poor show.
Oh, hold on. I have a question for you. Who's the showrunner, you or me?
Well, I guess I don't know. Yeah, you should be writing them questions then.
No, I'll let you write them questions. I have to think too much.
I just talked about Dabo and how great he is and all that. They're going to Florida State this week at Florida State, 7:00. You know, they'll be going. I don't even know if the fans though have the energy to go nuts for that game. Like they will, but if I were a Florida State fan, I'm not getting up for this. Clemson's 14.5-point favorites. I think they cover that. Florida State's just awful, and I really like this Clemson team. So I'll be excited to watch Clemson this weekend. I don't love this pick, I will say. I don't love it, but I'm taking it.
So it's Clemson minus 14.5.
Yes, correct.
Not a bad pick. Florida State can't freaking score.
They're horrible. Yeah, they're horrible.
Score.
But again,
can't score.
My big thing is I don't like picking against teams that have great home field advantages like a Florida State does when they're all doing the chop. But again, how do you get up for this game if you're a fan of Florida State? How do you get up for it?
I'm gonna add a classic dad joke pick here. I'm taking the bye this week. They're going to lose. Texas team bye is playing Texas. They're playing LSU. They're playing Notre Dame. They're playing BYU. They're playing Utah. They're playing Oklahoma. They're playing Kansas State, and they're playing Illinois. So the bye week, the bye team is going to lose every one of those matchups. I don't worry
that was horrible.
Every time
that was a horrible joke. What does
why
that
is
mean
bye always losing? Why does bye
lose.
always lose? They should lose.
All
right.
They don't.
So-
no one loses or wins that game.
So
It doesn't
No
exist.
shit, no shit. It's a 60-year-old man dad joke. Come on, give me a break. So Kevin, Missouri plus 2.5 over A&M. Chris -10 Navy over Air Force. Jimbo, Boise State minus 26.5 over Utah State, and you watch Boise State will let up on them. That'll be my curse. And then you've got Clemson minus 14.5. Jack, Clemson minus 14.5 against the Florida State Seminoles. College football. Any other words before we move on? It's only. I think there's only one matchup this week between the top 25 teams. And I'm trying to look forward here. I got on my list here, but only one. Anything else you have to say?
Well,
about
we're going to
college?
get a top 25 matchup, not this week, but the week after when Indiana plays Nebraska. I got to just do a quick Nebraska moment. Raiola played good again.
Nebraska's not top 25.
They will be. They actually might have to beat Indiana to get back in, but they are a top 25 team. Again, like I said, Raiola played well. They played on the road. Purdue, good win. Just a solid performance. Matt Rule type performance. Back on track. Again, got to beat Indiana. Got to only have one. I wanted to be undefeated going into that Ohio State game. Got to only have one loss. So that's my quick Nebraska update.
Oh, thank you. And Matt Rule appreciates it. We should get.
They can't kick. Oh my God, they can't kick. It's pathetic.
It's the curse of college football.
And their kicking coach, I didn't know he went to Nebraska. He used to play for the Cowboys. Brett Maher. You remember him? He's a kick for the Cowboys. He's their kick. He's like their kicking coach. Matt Rule brought him in to help the kickers, and they're not doing well.
You know what? Every team has a problem. If you can't kick, you remember Alabama had that one kicker 12 years ago, missed a couple field goals. They didn't win the national championship. I always say if you're playing at that higher level, you need to have a good kicker, and you're a good punter.
They did win the national championship that year. That was a Les Miles LSU team, but that game that the kicker missed all the kicks, LSU won that game. They ended up playing each other in the national championship, and Bama won. So they got their revenge. The year they didn't have the kicker, they still won the national championship. Because they had like Eddie Lacy. I saw Eddie Lacy got arrested for it was a word and it was drunk driving, but it was something. There was an adjective in front of drunk driving that made it like crazy.
Aggravated drunk driving.
It was like outrageous or like outlandish drunk driving. But Eddie Lacy was probably on that team that ran all over LSU.
Probably aggravated.
Just one of those great running. Trent Richardson, all those guys that just Derrick Henry. Think about the running backs that they had through like the late 2000s.
True.
Early 2010s. It's disgusting.
Very true. All right, that's our college football portion of the program today. We're going to move on to the NFL. Did you get a chance to look at the NFL or not?
No. Do you have the games?
I have the games.
Pull up the games. Go through all the games.
All
I
right,
get take.
Here we go. Game number one, the most boring game that ever existed. Thursday game, Dallas 20, New York Giants 15.
Yeah, I didn't watch a second of that game. Dallas needed to win that game. It was still ugly, from what I heard.
All right, Sunday's game, Cincinnati 34, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals 34, Carolina 24. Ugh, Carolina's terrible.
Yeah, you beat the Panthers. If they lost that game, that would have been a crisis.
Yeah, it would have been a major crisis in Cincinnati.
Imagine being 0-4 with losses to the Patriots and the Panthers. No.
Whoa. No. Okay, the next game, Indianapolis 27, Pittsburgh 24. Pittsburgh falls from the ranks of the unbeaten.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's going to lose games like this just because I don't think they're the greatest team. But like I said, they're going to be a thorn in the side. Good for Indiana. Did Richardson stay healthy the whole game?
He got hurt. Richardson got hurt, and I forget who they brought in.
Do they still have Minshew?
No,
I don't know. Whatever.
We didn't watch that game.
Of course, Richardson didn't.
All right, next game.
We didn't watch the game. There's only like 2 NFL games a week worth watching. If you sit on your couch from 1 p.m. till like the end of the Sunday night game on Sunday, you're just stupid. You are. And you're watching. I got 5. I get Red Zone on one screen, and then all the games. I have the quad box. The NFL sucks.
Who's doing that?
It sucks.
Like
all these people are like, oh, football. Okay. We're watching on all these.
We don't have a lot of time.
No,
because I want to get on the Red Sox.
All right.
Very next game, the Chicago Bears 24, the Los Angeles Rams 18. That was your boy.
Yep.
Your boy.
I'm telling you, Caleb. He's going to be good. Just get him a new offensive coordinator, coaching staff. We'll be all right.
Okay, it must have been the Meadowlands because the next game was maybe even more boring than the Giants game. Denver 10, New York Jets 9, and they missed a field goal at the end.
Jets. Yeah, so if you live in the New England region, or at least in our part of the New England region, that was the only 1 o'clock game we got. And I tried to watch it, but I couldn't because it was horrible. And yeah, bad kicking in that game in the NFL. It was bad weather. Rodgers and his coach, that's going to blow up sooner rather than later. Before the end of the season, it'll 100% blow up. You see, him and his receivers just are, because he has all these cadences, changing plays, all this, and they're just not on the same page. Probably because he didn't spend enough time. You know,
in the summer.
If you're gonna be changing all this stuff at the line of scrimmage and have all this fancy stuff going on with your receivers, maybe show up to training camp with them. But
all right, I'm gonna do 3 games here. Houston 24, Jacksonville 20. Tampa Bay 33, Philadelphia 16, and Green Bay lost to Minnesota. Minnesota remains unbeaten, 31-29. What's your take? And I'll give you my take.
Jacksonville's the only undefeated team left.
Winless team.
Undefeated in losses.
You can't be undefeated.
I said it right. You know what I meant.
I know.
Yeah, they haven't. They're the only winless team left. Urban Meyer's stock keeps going up because of it. Because Trevor Lawrence absolutely stinks. He's useless. Notre Dame should hire him. What was the next game?
Tampa, Philly. Tampa croaked up Baker Mayfield.
I mean, what do you want me to say? Everyone knows my take on that game.
Nick Sirianni. And then Minnesota, Green Bay, and Minnesota with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, wow, they look good.
And you know what? Because like I said this last week, and I say it this week, we can talk about Sirianni, we can talk about Jacksonville, we can talk about quarterbacks. You got to put a quarterback you have. You got to live and die with what you have, but you got to put him in a position to win. And they put Sam Darnold in a position to win. You know, the other guys haven't, and that's life. And I think
in today's NFL, and like the Patriots didn't do this, but you almost have to hire an offensive head coach. Like that's just the way it is. Like who's the last defensive head coach to win a Super Bowl? Like we could be wrong. Well, what's his
Belichick.
name? No, it would have been. Was Arians a defense or an offensive guy?
He was offensive guy.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. It honestly might be Belichick that is the last one to do that.
All right, the next 3 games: Atlanta 26, New Orleans 24, Washington, which we got Jalen Daniels 42, Arizona 14, New England 30, San Francisco 30, New England 13.
That's another thing with Washington. You're talking about coaching, put you in the right position. He's got Kingsbury, or whatever, as his offensive coordinator. It's a perfect situation for him. And they have some talent on their team. Their offensive line doesn't stink like the Bears does and like the Patriots does.
And right now, he and Bo Nix are playing better than your boy Williams.
Again, like I said, a much better offensive line in Washington and then Chicago. And better coaching, I think. And we rip on Dan Quinn for that loss in the Super Bowl, but he's a better coach than Matt Eberflus.
The Patriots, we're not going to talk about. They suck.
Shane Waldron.
I tell you, as my 4.5 still looking pretty good now, right? Except for they play the Dolphins this week. So next games, Cleveland lost to Las Vegas, 20-16. Your buddy there. Kansas City, 17-10, lost their over the Chargers. They gave up 10 straight points. And somebody said Mahomes is great when he's down 10-0, and that's very true.
I mean, the Chiefs' defense is out of the... Yeah, they give up a touchdown on the first drive. Then Mahomes throws the interception. They hold him to a field goal. And then they... Like, I know the Chargers were banged up on offense, but that Chiefs' defense is out of this world. And when you have
winning
Mahomes,
games because
it's like
of their defense.
Eventually Mahomes is going to get you points. So if your defense isn't giving up points, you're going to win every game, even if Mahomes sucks. Even if your receivers
I think that there's still red flags with Rice out. That'll be interesting to see how that. We'll see what happens. Let's give them the next four weeks and see where they end up after that. After
their schedule's got to ease up at some point.
They would expect it to. Buffalo got smoked by Baltimore. Baltimore's actually a pretty good football team, and the Chiefs did shut them down. And then Monday night games, Miami absolutely sucks. Lost to Tennessee, 31-12. They're on their third quarterback. And then Detroit destroyed Seattle, one of the other undefeated teams. I still like Detroit as one of my favorites in the AFC.
Yeah, no, you might be right. What was the game? Oh, the Ravens. I did say one of the Ravens or the Bengals would play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I don't think it's going to be the Bengals. Ravens definitely have a chance.
You might be correct, sir. You never know.
Rematch. But again, like I said, it's probably going to be that.
Might be
playoffs
correct.
are going through Arrowhead. They are.
They will. Coaches on the hot seat. Who we got? Who are hot seat coaches?
Well, like Sirianni. I mean, I don't know if there's an Eagles fan who really likes him and wants him around. So I'd say Sirianni. You gotta fire him.
And then
I don't think their team's that good though. Like I think Jalen Hurts is not good. He's just not good. So
better than Joe Burrow.
No, he's not even close.
All right, Sirianni. I think Sirianni, Dable at the Giants is another one where Belichick can sneak in.
Dable would be very good if he got fired. The Patriots should get rid of their coordinator, and Dable should be their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's true.
100%. It shouldn't even be a question.
Well,
it won't happen.
I like how you brought up, and this is as we close the NFL because we're going to go on to Major League Baseball. I like how you brought up that you need an offensive coach to win, and that's so true. But again, you need a good quarterback and an offensive coach who are in sync with each other. And again, Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, they're terrible. NFL, anything you want to look forward to this week as we get the bye week starting this week? We do have a game in London today, though. Ooh. London coming up, but everybody get up early on Sunday morning if you really want to do the Jack Boyle thing. You can watch football, although that's like on some streaming service. You can watch football from 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock at night for all you happy people. That's Minnesota and the Jets. Ooh, Jets are going to get rocked in London this week. All right. We haven't talked a lot of baseball. Red Sox really shit the bed at the end of the year, last half of the season. First it was the pitching, then it was the hitting, and then it was the bullpen, and the bullpen was really atrocious. I just want to go through real quick the championship series. I don't know what happened today, but Detroit was playing Houston, and they were up 1-0. Kansas City playing my brain is farting. Who's Kansas City playing?
I don't know.
Baltimore, and they're up 1-0. Bobby Witt. Your Cole Reagan's guy did great.
The new 2 out of 3 wild card series, everyone makes the playoffs. It's the wokest thing ever. It is. I can't be bothered with the wild card round. I'll wait till next round when we play real baseball.
All right.
This is 2 out of 3 is the dumbest thing ever. All I care about right now, the only thing that matters in baseball right now, is this guy. Let me know. Let me know when Ohtani does something like that. Let me know when Ohtani comes up in the clutch like that. You know, if Ohtani wasn't on the Dodgers this year, they'd still be in the playoffs. If Lindor wasn't on the Mets, they'd be nowhere near it. What a leader. What a guy he is.
Can I say something right now?
Good for the Mets. I like Lindor. He's a good guy.
Ohtani has never played in the postseason. He's going to get first postseason back. Who do you like then? Who at National League? Who's coming out? You got the Mets, National League?
Not really. I did see the Astros lost the first game of the wild card, so continuously picking the Astros right now might not be smart.
Well, because they could be eliminated right now.
But you know what? Why not? There's magic. There's magic in the air. The Mets are going to go on a run.
Before you pick that game, the Tigers won 5-2, so the Astros are done.
Yeah.
It's done.
So that's smart of me.
And National League is the Mets. Who do you like in the American League?
Who do I have? Who are my options?
You've got the the Royals right now. The Royals right now.
If we're going, you know what?
So you got to wait.
No, we're going storylines. We're going the Tigers versus the Mets. So that'd be a good story.
Oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Sleepers.
Okay, Jack. I am going to go. That sucks for me, doesn't it? Because I would have taken the Tigers too. I still in the American League. I'm going to go and tell you that it's not going to be anything I like. So I'm not going to pick the American League till these series are done. But because I can't pick the Yankees and I can't pick the Indians, I'm going to go with the Indians because
the Yankees.
I'll go with the Indians because they've been fooling people all year.
They don't play in the MLB anymore.
And I'm going to go with the Dodgers as well.
It's the Guardians.
Oh, you're right. The Guardians. Sorry, I'm just getting old. And I'll go with the Dodgers. And then who do you got winning the World Series?
The Mets. Why not the Mets?
You got the Mets. I'm going to go with the Indians. Are going to win their first World Series since forever, 1940s and the 40s.
The Guardians.
Guardians. I'm sorry, Jack Guardians. And I'll tell you something. Your Cole Reagan's pitched great yesterday, by the way. You might have to keep him over Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
So tragically, for the third consecutive year and like the fifth time in 6 years, our fabulous Boston Red Sox did not make the playoffs that are expanded. Impressions. I know we've talked about it. We haven't really talked about the Sox. I just want give me a 2-minute diatribe about what do you got?
What was that?
That was you, not me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Something about the Astros being canceled.
They are canceled.
So, do you know what the FSG's revenue is like per year?
I would bet FSG's revenue is probably in the 200 millions.
So it's $1.9 billion.
Holy crap!
Yeah, no, they can't afford Mookie Betts. I have some inside sources. I know some people who might have been at a Q&A with Sam Kennedy the other day. Obviously, we won't be stating our sources like Jaylen Brown wants to. But yeah, Sam Kennedy, him in a room, like he says, like everywhere I go in a place where an FSG team is owned, they all hate me. All the fans hate me. It's like you shouldn't be proud of that. Which he kind of seemed like he's like, ooh, I'm cool. He's comfortable with an audience of a bunch of rich people. That's his folk. They're not going to get on him. Sam Kennedy, no one is more comfortable lying to your face than Sam Kennedy is. So I wouldn't take anything he said at face value. Can I interject?
But Sam Kennedy's job is to bullshit you.
Correct.
That's what his job
is. That's why I'm doing a Q&A.
Whether he likes it or not, that's his job.
But
right?
So he said the Mookie Betts trade was a mistake. Cool and all. What question would you ask? If like you had a question, all my questions would be almost around like because I don't care about anything. I know you're gonna lie to me. Blah blah blah. I want to know the Mookie Betts thing is like when did you make that decision and whose decision was it? And he'd never tell me the answer. And that's
they made the decision in 2019.
I think they might have made it before then.
And they might. And B, John Henry signed off on that. Right? John Henry was so fast to sign off on that it don't matter. The biggest, again, you can't be stupid, and we're not stupid fans. That is a huge mistake. They're going to pay for that mistake at least for another few years, and maybe some of these younger kids will play better. But they're going to pay for it. And then Chaim Bloom being a complete absolute idiot with regards to the major league side, not understanding that you do have to have players, you have to have depth to win, and that's killed them. So got to give Breslow another offseason. Maybe they'll start spending some money, which I hope they do. Now that they've done what they need to do, they reset the salary cap. They got all these young players in the pipeline ready to go. So. Anything else on Sam Kennedy? He's saying what he's got to say. It's John Henry's mouthpiece.
I just hate Sam Kennedy. I do. I'm sick of Sam Kennedy. It's like you got rid of Chaim Bloom. I got to get mad at something. Like it's not worth getting mad at John Henry. He's useless. So I'll get all my anger is directed at Sam Kennedy until something happens. And then did you see Trevor Story today came out?
Oh.
He goes He literally said the Red Sox organization needs to spend money this offseason.
Yeah,
it's
why don't we spend it on injured shortstop?
Trevor, that is the least self-aware comment ever. You need to stay on the. You can't be talking about spending. We spent money on you. You don't play. It'd be like Chris Sale coming out being like, "We need to spend money." What are you talking? Haha, at Chris Sale, by the way.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
But what are you talking about, Trevor Story?
I will.
Anyone else on the Red Sox can say we need to spend money. Jaron Durant can come out and say we need to spend money. Alex Cora can say we need to spend money. The guy who's like getting paid and cost us Xander Bogaerts and is getting paid is the one that's saying we need to spend money. No, Trevor, you need to stay on the field.
The irony is, and then I hate to defend Trevor Story because you know how much I hate the whole thing. He did say that he needs to stay on the field more. He did
fine.
in the same interview.
But
again, I agree with you.
Good for Trevor. I don't want you talking about how much money we need to spend.
That's another question. Who signed off on Trevor Story coming here? Who signed off? Who signed off on Chaim Bloom, and then who signed off on moving Sale for $17 million? We had to eat. I mean, I just again.
Well, I'm not going to complain about that move. I like that move when it happened, so I'm not going to complain about that.
It gives us the opening though to talk about Chris Sale getting back spasms. Right
well, we need to know if the Cardinals the Cardinals should be interested in Yoshida. Is he still interested in Yoshida? Does he want to take Yoshida off our hands for us? For Christ's sake! My God! Who signed off on that?
I would give Yoshida away for nothing. But I wouldn't even make them give me anything back. I would even send some money with them to get rid of him.
What are you talking about? Everyone would get. No one. If the Red Sox offered all 29 teams in the MLB Yoshida for a bag of balls, all 29 teams go, no, we want the bag of balls. I'm like, that's not me being funny or anything. That is what the answer would be. Well, you have to give something up to get rid of him.
Again, if you recall when it happened, I remember when they signed him, every single human being alive in the baseball world said it was a terrible signing. And Chaim Bloom came out and said, I know more than you. And that's what happened. So we are screwed with a guy who can't play the field, who hits. It's like Trevor Story's the same way, though. They're not he doesn't strike out, but he's not.
Trevor Story's different. Trevor Story, there's upside there if he were to hit home runs and stay on the field. That's wrong, Dad. He can hit you 30 home runs in playing an A-level defensive shortstop. What are you talking about?
Okay,
there's value in Trevor Story.
The first year he was here. Whatever. How many years
I'm saying best.
He had that 1 week.
That doesn't matter.
He had one good week in 3 years.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying.
I think the upside's gone.
You're not best case scenario when you sign Trevor Story was he hits 30 home runs a year, he stays healthy, he plays a great shortstop. Best case scenario for Yoshida was he hits 310, he hits maybe 15 home runs.
Right.
He can't play the field. There was never going to be a situation where he played the field, and he's a left-handed bat when we have a million of them.
I don't
no
disagree
matter
with
what,
that.
Trevor Story at least made sense when you signed him. It was just a bad signing. Yoshida, when they signed him, made no sense.
I do not disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, but
you do. You said you did.
No, I said it's true. I didn't say that. I don't think. I think both signings were horrible. I think Story is a worse signing than Yoshida. I just think
that's not even close. No.
Okay, we beg.
It could end because it's more money. It's going to end up being worse because he can't stay on the field. Right. But like going into it, that signing made a million times more sense than Yoshida did.
Wow.
It did.
Yeah, except for you
say you agree with me, and you clearly disagree with that.
What, the Story?
That Story made sense, and Yoshida didn't.
No, first, but I said they both don't make anything.
No, they actually didn't need a shortstop.
They had a shortstop. They had a shortstop. Well, if they offered him the money they offered Trevor Story, he would still be here, and you'd have a leader in the clubhouse, and you'd have a guy people respected. I mean, they had two great leaders in the clubhouse. two great guys,
All right.
and they got rid of them. All right, I just want to go over this year's team. What before we switch over? What positive happened?
Nothing.
come
Jaron
on, tell me
Duran
about
was good, I guess. They had, I didn't watch the Red Sox this year. If you're going to ask me my opinion on the Red Sox 2024, I stayed true to the game. I hated on FSG, and I didn't watch the Red Sox.
All right, so what good happened? Do you know?
No.
No, you don't. Okay. I'm just going to go
What
quick.
good
I think that
Jaron Duran had a real good year.
I think
That's about it.
Durant was good for them. I think that the three young starting pitchers at least got the experience and pitched a lot of innings that didn't get hurt, right? Houck and Bello and Crawford. I think that really helped. I think other than that, Devers was Devers. He didn't do great. Cash's got to play or trade him. I think that. So that's the next question I want to ask you. Who do you trade?
I don't know. Well, you got to trade one of your prospects, and you got to pick which one it is. I wouldn't trade Anthony now. I'd probably trade Meyer just because he's hurt all the time. If you can get that top pitcher for him, I don't know who's who. Now, if you're going after like Garrett Crochet, I don't think you'd have to trade Meyer. So I don't know. You trade one of your lefties that you got to get rid of.
I still think the Christian Campbell guy's got to trade because he's the hottest guy you have right now.
Trade him. I'd trade Jaron Duran. I think he's the hottest guy you get going right now.
Oh, yeah. So I think there's three. I think you should, if Cassius doesn't want to sign a long-term deal with you here, and he might not, Cassius is one to go because he can't play first base really well, and he's a big, tall lefty. You can always just move Devers over there and then find yourself a third baseman. So I heard one thing. This is a great one. They trade Cassius for whatever. They move Devers to first base. They signed Alex Bregman to play third base for him for about 3 or 4 years. It gives them a good left side of defense there. I would take a flyer if I got somebody good enough for Duran, I would do it, but then you're really hoping that Rafaela and Anthony are enough to survive giving up his bat right now. Pitching-wise, the bullpen was absolutely crap. I think they got Kenley Jansen should have been traded. I'm going to ask you before you go, why did they trade Kenley Jansen to Texas last year for Cole Reagans? That's what I don't understand. What were they thinking?
That's another one where it's just like, if you want answers on the Red Sox and you want correct takes on the Red Sox, you come to me. Because who has been trashing on Kenley Jansen for a year now? Who has been saying all this stuff? Who has been right about everything? It's me. So Kenley Jansen.
Oh, Jack is the smarter. He didn't watch the game, but he's been right.
Kenley Jansen coming out as a total asshole that just doesn't care about his teammates. And was I surprised? No, I've been saying that the whole time. He never cared.
But again, it was down to again 2 years in a row. Now, again, this is where I get a little frustrated. Again, 2 years in a row. Technically, they were close to making the third wild card. 2 years in a row, they had opportunity to move players. That actually 3, because J.D. Martinez a couple years ago. 3 years in a row, they've had opportunity, especially to move. I cannot believe did Kansas City stole Cole Reagans. They stole him from Texas, but Texas won a world championship by picking Chapman. Why couldn't we trade Jansen for that type of player who is maybe a risky player, but there's some upside to him? It's just a matter of I don't understand.
Well,
you either go for it and say, okay, we're happy we made the playoffs because we haven't made it in 3 years, so we traded Jansen. It wouldn't have mattered. They just have not made smart baseball decisions the last 2 Julys. That's what I think. And I think they're thinking about these 4 guys coming up, but they're prospects for a reason. And Roman Anthony or Marcelo Meyer or Teal or Christian Campbell, any one of those guys can be a bust. Or 2 of them can be a bust.
I wouldn't mind them all. Obviously, I'm a Red Sox fan. I want them all to succeed, but there's a part of me that if they all absolutely flop, it wouldn't bother me that much just because I would never, ever let J-Trev hear the end of it. Hein Bloom with all these prospects, they really did good. So if they all flop, oh my God, J-Trev and his Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels hate, I'm adding that to the list.
But again, it comes down to, think about it, the last time this happened, when we had all these, we had Bogarts, we had Betts, we had Bradley, we had Benintendi, Devers, those guys were ready to come up through the system. Give Dave Dombrowski a lot of credit. He had a little bit of open purse, but he went out and got, and I hate to say this name, Craig Kimbrell, and he went out and got David Price, and they won the division for 2 years in a row. And then they went out and got Chris Sale to put him over the top and win the World Series.
They also, I don't know who made this trade or when it was made. It was probably actually not Dombrowski, but it was before then. They traded a reliever that wasn't going to sign with them for a really good young pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez, who helped them win. So they made that trade in the past. They didn't do it with Kenley Jansen.
That was Ben Cherington.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
But again, we don't have any stability in the front office. We don't have stability in the ownership. Stable, but don't want to do anything. Front office, but we have stability with our good friend Alex Cora. Any final last words on the Red Sox before we put them to bed for the year?
Nope.
You're all done. You're going to watch next year? You're going to watch them next year?
Yeah, well, no, we'll see. Well, you know what? Last offseason, they said the same thing they were this offseason. It's like, we got these guys. We got a young team. We're ready to go. We're ready. We're going full throttle. That was the last season. So they'll probably talk all this. We have all these young guys coming up. Like they're talking right now, Cora. Next year's going to be exciting. They said that last year.
That's what they have to say. What do you want to say? What do you want to say?
I'll wait till January 1st. 2025 to let you know if they're a serious ball club or not. Because you know what? I'm not taking anything they say seriously until they actually do it.
All right. As we get ready to wrap up here, we did Sinner versus Alcaraz. You got up early and watched that?
God, probably the match of the year. Maybe the Olympic final, but just a great tennis match. It's the two best players in the world, the future of tennis. Like I said, we'll exclude Djokovic just because he's old and you don't know what you're getting with him with health. After those two, like they're on a level of by themselves right now. There's no one even close to them. Whoever's third in the world, whoever you say, like Zverev or Medvedev, these guys, they're not even anywhere near the level that these two are on. So it's going to be a very fun rivalry for the next 10 years. But yeah, Alcaraz comes out with a win today in Beijing. Beats the guy on steroids there. I'm not going to trash on him anymore, though. There's a real fun match to watch today. He's a real good player, Sinner. And I did see the next tournament's in Shanghai. And Sinner and Alcaraz flew together. They took the same private jet.
Yeah, I'm sure
so they're good. They're real close.
They're always
it's a good
buddies.
rivalry.
They're always
but
buddies.
Again,
all right,
3 sets.
It doesn't matter.
It went the length. Two of the sets ended in tie breaks. Alcaraz in the tie break to decide the match went down 3-0. Ended up winning the tie break. He won the next 7 points to win the match. He can just turn it on. It was fun.
It's good.
It's fun. I love tennis. I love tennis.
We're going to run out of time here, but I do want to just mention this. This is something we'll talk about next week. It'll replace the Red Sox talk. Celtics are underway this weekend, right? They're in Abu Dhabi.
Yes,
right. Play the Nuggets. Knicks made a trade which didn't make any sense. We'll talk about that later on.
It's a fine trade.
It's a stupid trade. And then I want you to gather up all the fun preseason quotes we're getting out of the NBA. Like LeBron doesn't want to talk about his team being that good because he doesn't know. LeBron
said the Olympics proved that he definitely still has a lot left to give and can still win in this league.
So your task is, and then Jimmy Butler's the reason why everybody in Miami and Jimmy Butler
behaved himself a little bit.
Didn't Spoelstra say that they made their team better because everybody's trying to get equal them?
Oh no, Jimmy. But the Heat were talking. They like asked Spoelstra about like the Sixers and the Knicks getting better this offseason. He's like, we're not scared of anyone. We'll still be here. It's like, no. They weren't getting better for you, Eric.
Well, that's what. Can you round up?
We're scared of the Heat. The Heat in 2024. We're still talking about the Heat in October of 2024.
Yeah. So just look at me. Just get some good preseason stuff. We'll do some NBA.
Can I
next
just
week.
real quickly say, did the Celtics win the championship last year? Like it's been now a year and a day since we traded for Drew Holiday. We've been in basketball heaven for like 366 days now, and I haven't listened to Felger and Maz in like 6 months. I turned it on the other day. They were talking about the Celtics, and they were like just ripping on them. Like what are we doing? What are we doing?
Because you know what? That's what they do.
But it doesn't bother me anymore.
That is their job. It shouldn't bother you.
It really doesn't bother me anymore. I'm just like, how can you not, as a Celtics fan? Like Jim Murray is supposed to be a Celtics fan. He hates like Tatum and like some of the guys on the team. He just hates them because who they are. How can you hate anyone on the team right now? The pleasure that they bring us every night, getting like I'm so excited for this season. I don't watch one Red Sox game, like I said. The pleasure that I get watching this team play, and you're gonna hate on them. Oh. It's a miserable existence. If you're not experiencing, if you're not enjoying this experience in this period that we're in, it's like, oh, I wish I knew we were in the good days. I wish there was a way to know we were in the good days before they were over. Well, guess what? We're in the good days right now, and I'm just enjoying it. And if you're not, you're an idiot.
I wish this was like the debate last night. I could have shut your mic off as you pointed out. Listen, next week we'll do our basic college football stuff, a little bit of NFL. I'm getting sick of the NFL, by the way. We'll be really hard into
like 5 minutes of the NFL.
I know, ALDS, and then we definitely want to talk about the NBA coming up because that's where we have a chance to win. as well. So as we a chance. So as we wrap up episode 52 of It All Boils Down to This, here's Jack Boyle, and I'm Jim Boyle, and we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV Studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We're always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.